if you still support this administration after what they're doing for the hurricane victims, you're a piece of shit. I'm telling you what, man, it's time for this country to rise up, invoke our Second Amendment for what our forefathers intended it to be. I'm telling you, man, being tolerant of this shit is what got us to this damn point. I tell you what, man, I see a son wearing a Harris hat, I'm going to put knots on that head faster than he can rub them. Guaranteed.
And this right here is the result of the misinformation machine that is Donald Trump and his ilk. All it takes are a couple of low IQ individuals to hear Donald Trump saying that Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, and FEMA aren't taking care of the people who are going through this tragedy due to Hurricane Helene. They take those words and they put those words into action. And now you have this guy talking about he's going to do harmful things to anyone he sees wearing a Kamala Harris hat. This is what you do when you have a former president spreading misinformation. This is not only damaging to politics, this is damaging to America. Donald Trump does not care how much division he's causing in this country by lying on television to Americans. And it gets worse, because here's George Stephanopoulos talking to an administrator at FEMA who is saying that her volunteers and her workers are a little bit afraid because there was someone who posted that a militia should take on FEMA. So here's her saying, this is what misinformation is doing to my people who are on the ground working their asses off to try and help people right now.
So much is going viral online as well. One user suggested yesterday that a militia should go against FEMA. It got more than 500,000 views. What kind of impact has this had on the recovery effort?
It has a tremendous impact on the comfort level of our own employees to be able to go out there, but it's also demoralizing to all of the first responders that have been out there in their communities helping people, FEMA staff, volunteers, the private sector that are working side by side with local officials to go out and help people. I need to make sure I can get the resources to where they're needed. And when you have this dangerous rhetoric like you're hearing, it creates fear in our own employees. And we need to make sure we're getting help to the people who need it.
The average person who goes and works for FEMA does it out of the goodness of their heart. The average person who works for FEMA probably dealt with some type of disaster in their life and thought, you know what, I'm going to give back. The average person that works for FEMA got into it to be a public servant. Then you have to talk about the first responders and volunteers who are there also assisting FEMA. These people now have to look over their shoulder for militia members and crazy people who want to do harm to them because your former president, Donald Trump, is lying to them. And not only is Donald Trump doing it, but all of his supporters and J.D. Vance, Laura Loomer, Charlie Kirk, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, all of these people are posting this crap and regurgitating this crap that is actually hurting people. There have been so many people out there who've been posting, trying to combat the disinformation and misinformation coming from the right because they realize these things are actually going to get people hurt. God damn, seriously, we need to do better. We really need to do better. Donald Trump needs to do better. And I know this won't get to him. And I know even if it did, he doesn't give a damn because he sees it. He sees it on the news. He hears it. He gets the newspaper clippings about it. He knows exactly what's happening. But you know what? Your safety is not important to Donald Trump. The safety of your children is not important to Donald Trump. The safety of your family members is not important to Donald Trump. What is important to Donald Trump is getting in power, making money, and staying out of jail. Period.
Don't want no enemies or ops. Envy in their heart, I tell them stop. Vacation on the yacht.